Cool. Thank you, everyone, for staying with us for another few minutes. So, hello, everyone. This is Adrian and Yaro, and we are on stage at Euruko in Sarajevo. And we have with us a very, very special guest. It's Yukihiro Matsumoto, also known as Mats, the author of the Ruby programming language. Yukihiro Matsumoto-san, thank you so much for being here with us.
You're welcome.
Yes. Okay, how does we get this on? Yes. So this is the friendly show, and we talk not so much about technical problems, but more about being friendly, hobbies. So our listeners, our friends here know a lot about your technical thoughts, about your programming thoughts, and we would like to know you more a bit as a person. So to start, tell me, are you a morning person or a night owl? What time of the day are you the most productive?
Most productive?
Or most focused?
I'm not really a productive person, but I'm lazy person. Actually, I don't want to work.
Perfect.
Actually, especially I don't work for money. But I have to. But I try to minimize the amount of work I have to do to earn living.
That's just perfect. I'm right with you on that. So we had this conversation about open source and how we all know that sometimes open source can be, can burn you out and can bring you down. And you are such an inspiration because of your smile and your cheerful spirit. And yes, and what do you do to bring your spirits up after if something is not that right? If you read something that you don't really like on the bug report for Ruby.
Yeah. As I said, I don't want to work, but the making Ruby itself is not a work for me. At least I enjoy the creating the language, so that get the bug reports and find bugs and fix them. They are all fun. It's kind of like a puzzles for me.
Yeah.
So that it's kind of that so intellectual, positive challenge for me. And I'm sitting and waiting so that someone came to come to ask me about new challenges and new puzzles, and I solve that, and I delighted, so I solve them, and that's kind of the life I want to
Gotcha,
I want to live.
Gotcha. So we had this question prepared now that you told us multiple times that you don't really want to work, but our question was, if you couldn't do programming and development, is there anything else that you envision yourself doing?
I don't think so. I don't know, because last 30, 40 years I'm so optimized to the programming, so that I don't do, say, music or sports, so that I dedicated most of the time to programs, and spend time with my family, and so that.
And we thank you for that.
Yeah.
We thank you for your time.
Yes, and you're wearing a -1 t-shirt. Mats is nice,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we are nice. And tell me, what does this mean for you, -1?
Yeah. In 2015, the RubyConf in Denver, I think, the Martin Fowler said that, okay, Ruby community the people in the Ruby community is pretty nice, and probably it was the nicest community in the world, on the open source community, nicest open source community in the world. And he said, probably because you're nice. And I was at the table, on the same table. Then someone near me coined that we are nice because Mars is nice, or something like that. And the next year, in the RubyConf, this slogan was came up. I'm not sure I'm nice or not, but at least I pretend to be nice.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Okay. Uh, Moving the conversation in another direction. So, are you a fan of any particular cuisine? Do you like more like Italian food or French food or Japanese food or what kind of food do you like?
Food thing. Oh, I like I like Japanese food. I like food in Japan. You know what I mean? We have the Japanese restaurant, the Italian restaurants, and yeah, Italian food is pretty popular in Japan. And then, in most cases, the food in Japan in general is for superior, at least for me.
Okay. And I know that you speak English and Japanese.
Yeah.
Are there any other languages that you speak?
Yeah, some years ago I bought a textbook for the Spanish, but because so many countries speak Spanish, and I want to communicate with more people, but a few days later I gave up. I didn't have the talent to learn next language.
Outside Ruby, of course.
Yeah, outside Ruby and C.
So we know that you are a family man, and we were curious. What do your kids think about your celebrity status?
Uh, for my children, so that none of them had shown interest in programming. So that the the oldest one became the kindergarten teacher. The second one is the occupational therapist. The third one is now serving as a church missionary. The last one is trying to in the study in the school to be a dental hygienist.
Okay.
So that they are no relation to the programs. So that, for them, probably their father do something complex.
That's cool. I'm sure.
And,
that-
yeah, then he earned money while he didn't look like working.
That's perfect. I'm
Yeah.
sure they're very proud of
For
you.
them, their father plays any time, all the
Nice.
time.
Nice. So, what does the ideal vacation look for you?
Vacation. I,
Again, I know
Yeah.
it's related to work.
Yeah.
We can skip it. We can skip it.
Oh.
So we know you travel quite a bit for these things and others between Japan and the US and Europe. Is there something that you like to bring home every time when you get back?
Not every time, but I love to visit local supermarket and buy local food or some small tools and things. No, not the souvenir things, but the usual things from the different countries.
Yeah, that's a cultural discovery in itself.
Yeah, yeah,
to do
yeah.
that as well. Yeah.
When I visit Paris 5 years ago, so that I bought some kind of steel, the kitchen timer in an egg shape, made up of steel, and my youngest daughter loved that one.
That's perfect.
Oh, yes. Another question. Do you play video games?
I don't usually play games. I'm too old to play games. Yeah, I do sometimes I don't do some kind of the real time action games because my nerves don't react that quick. But I do sometimes like a card game or something like that. But it's too time consuming, so that at some time I stopped playing those kind of games. And actually, I used to connect to the chat system as well, like the IRC, Discord, the Slack, and things. And I stopped using that because those are also time consuming.
Yeah.
Actually, I love to connection with the conversation over the chat system, but probably I love them too much. So that, you know, I chat all the days without anything. So that I stopped using that.
Yeah, Mats, we have a small series of quick questions that we and our listeners came up with. So you should choose either or. So, what do you choose? Pizza or sushi?
Sushi.
Okay. Horror movies or comedies?
None of them. Actually, you know, probably I lost my concentration from ages. So that I used to watch many movies, including horror movies and comedy movies and sci-fi movies, but those say at least this last 5 years I stopped watching movies because the 2 hour concentration is too long for me.
Okay. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset, I guess. Yeah, my hometown is pretty much famous for the beautiful sunset.
Okay. Football or basketball?
None of them. No, I'm not a sports person.
Okay. Cats or dogs?
Both. We have both cat and dog.
This one is going to be a really hard one. Ruby or Python?
No. Actually, Ruby or Lisp.
As a source of inspiration, they're definitely Lisp because Ruby is the result of the inspiration.
Okay. Rap music or classical music?
Rather classical,
Okay. And Paris or London?
but
Paris, the city, or London?
I don't know. I like European cities. I like to walk around the cities, which has which they keep old buildings and a historical building. And then, yeah, so after the Euruko, usually I spend a day to walk around the city. This time I'm leaving Saturday, so that I'm not sure I can have time to look around the city. But I love most of the European cities.
Beautiful. So before closing, I have one more final question. But before closing, we were thinking maybe to get some questions from
Sure.
the room, some quick questions. So, does anybody want to know something from Mats? Okay.
It would appear we do. Mats, how were you before the Ruby? What were you before the Ruby?
What?
Before building Ruby, what was your life like?
I've been the professional programmer for a long time. So before Ruby, so that I program for living, and actually I enjoyed that a lot.
Cool. Another question? All the way in the back. This is the time, folks.
Hello, my name is Dario. So I'm wondering, who is your favorite sports athlete?
Yeah. Can you repeat your favorite sports? What?
Athlete.
Athlete.
Yeah.
Athletes. Yeah, as I said before, that I'm not a sports person, so that I have no particular.
Kento Momota?
Maybe. Probably the Shohei Ohtani, because the baseball is pretty famous, popular in Japan.
It's baseball?
Yeah, baseball is
Okay.
popular here, there.
Okay. I saw another raised hand. Yep.
Hi, thank you. Do you like to read some literatures? And if so, what's your favorite writer or poet?
My favorite what?
Writer, if you like to.
Writer. I don't.
Tough question.
Tough question. So
You can think about it, and we can take a rain check if that's okay.
Yeah, recently I don't read that novel that much, so that I have no particular author.
Gotcha. Oh, Ufuk, right here in the front. Oh, you have another one? Okay. And then Ufuk, and then Ufuk, yeah.
I'm asking this with zero racism. Do you watch anime? Or
Do you
like
watch
it?
anime?
I usually don't watch anime, but I love mangas, so that I read mangas a lot. Recent one is the 逃げ上手の若君, which is the Japanese history manga, and the soon to be anime.
Okay. Ufuk had another question.
Do you consider yourself to be a C programmer or a Ruby programmer?
As a programmer, I consider myself C programmer.
Cool. Yeah.
Very with very knowledge of big knowledge of the Ruby language, of course.
How to convince our friends who program but not Ruby to try Ruby? How to sell Ruby to other people?
It will benefit you anyway.
That's our job, not his job. Okay, that's our job to get other people in.
And then, yeah, but somebody is very curious about the technology, like trying new language, new technology, and at least at the surface, that is kind of the key characteristic of the great programmer. So that, yeah, be curious. I'd like to say to him.
Very good.
Yes. Oh,
Maybe I think we have 2 more questions, and then we're done. We can enjoy the party.
Matsumoto-sama, hello.
Don't do that.
Okay, what I wanted to ask is how much of you as a person is in Ruby? So I'm pretty convinced that you're making an opinionated decisions. And how often or how much do you make such an opinionated decision when designing the language?
I usually try to be, the opinionated, and the very few time I regret my decision. Yeah, I try to foresee the future. I try to foresee the future, and some take more time. Like okay, in 5 years, the CPU gonna fast enough to run. Fast enough for the interpreted language in 30 something years ago, and that became true, but it took longer time, or something like that. But in general, I don't regret my decisions,
That's good. That's good. So
except for several ones.
okay, so it's easy. Just foresee the future, and you'll do fine. Cool. So I have one final question. So
Yes.
software development has evolved. It has become more and more popular in the last 20, 25 years. And with that, we started to get dramas. Like which programming language is better, it's faster, and whatever. And we don't need to focus on that. And just before closing, what is your message to the industry about how to be more positive?
Look, the programming itself is very fun to play. So that I started programming when I was in junior high school and 40 something years ago, and I never regret started programming in last 40 years. And but at the same time, especially programming for living, so that sometimes we got some pleasures and some kind of the non-fun part of the programming. But the tools, technologies help us focus more on the fun part of the programming. So that I I try to use those technology to focus on the fun part of the programming and eliminate the you know
Bad.
a bad part of the programming. Like I if I could try to eliminate the typing and writing test by say AI, that would be fun. And then I'd like new technology to help us to focus on the fun part of the programming.
That sounds good. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, everybody, for your questions.
Yes, but the final question.
Oh, final question.
I mean, so right now at 6 o'clock, we're going to have 3 after parties. Here in this hall, we're going to have a DJ set. Then we're going to have a karaoke in the other hall. And in auditorium 3, we're going to have a movie night. So which one are you going to?
Probably the DJ one to thank the OB, my friend.
That's
Okay.
perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us.
Sure.